Hi friends, welcome to a new webinar on APPSeCONNECT Product Update. 2019 was the most happening year for us. Even though this year our focus was mostly on the stability and the user feedbacks, we are still managed to introduce a number of brand new interesting features on the applications which you might like as well. If you are minutely following the release notes, if you are following the release note minutely throughout the year, you might already know that we have released so far some of the cool, interesting features. But in this session, we are going to take deep dive on each of them such that you can effectively use them while using the platform. The session will go back in time and discuss all the things that we did for the product APPSeCONNECT. My name is Abhishek Shur and I am the VP of product APPSeCONNECT. I am passionate towards technology and do a lot of innovations around product and services. I have been awarded as most valuable professional by Microsoft and software innovator by Intel. I have written two books on technology. Being a part of technology, I focus on features and user experiences that are getting delivered on APPSeCONNECT. I'll try to show some of the coolest features which my team at InSync work on to give you joy, you can say. We will try to cover all of these in this session. The agenda look like this. We will first introduce what APPSeCONNECT is all about. For the existing customer, this is not making any sense as you are already aware of APPSeCONNECT. But for those who are new to the platform, we will introduce APPSeCONNECT for the first time. After doing an initial introduction, we will go ahead and discuss the new features. We have also introduced a handful of apps that we will discuss here as well. By apps, we mean the applications that are natively supported by APPSeCONNECT platform. These apps are ready in the platform and you can just choose them, put credentials, use schema, do integrations, and that is ready to deploy. These are simple steps to create a successful integration. On the other hand, some of the developed components that are even more easier to integrate, these are the connectors. The connectors are pre-packaged templates which allow doing data transfer between two applications easily. They are applications that are developed as connectors. These connectors are readily available and you can just choose them from the marketplace, do some mapping changes that is required because of the application updates, and then copy to your account and then run it. It is like a wizard and you need only to focus on the changes that you have made to the applications and integrate them to the mapping section of APPSeCONNECT. If you see a connector is readily supported, that means the integration is ready and time tested to a lot of other customers before we put it in the marketplace. As per demand, we also do a lot of enhancement to our existing features. We did a lot in this whole year to help you on the existing features. We are going to cover all of them in this session as well. As we are an integration platform, we take security on the highest priority. During this year, we have made some enhancement on the security of the platform. We will cover them too in this session. The future is the last section before coming to a conclusion. I think future is something everyone is looking closely to. We will cover and give you a sneak peek on what are we doing now and what will be delivered in upcoming releases. So for now, let us understand what is an iPaaS platform. APPSeCONNECT is an iPaaS platform, which means it is a platform where users can register and develop services on the platform. It is a platform that allows us to develop connectors between two applications. The platform provides SDK, which will allow you to develop an adapter, which is just a connection between the application and APPSeCONNECT as a platform. There will be an existing prepackaged applications. There will be existing prepackaged connectors. There will be prepackaged workflow designed for getting your dependency of business flow intact, etc. So all of them are readily available on the platform. The platform also allows you to manage environment, helping users to access environment from web, etc. We do everything taking security into account as well. The product is highly flexible and highly secure, both at motion at or at rest. So any data that we transfer from the on-premise APPSeCONNECT tool to our cloud, or even while transferring data from our APPSeCONNECT cloud to the tool, is always secure and encrypted. And the same thing happens when we store some data into your into our database or into your system. So all are encrypted using end-to-end protection key, and the end-to-end protection key is different for each tenant, and as well as it is kept private into your vault. Regarding features, we have developed a number of interesting features. Let us now take a look at one of them one by one. We have developed rules before, which allows the developer to develop a programming over the data created by the application. But according to the feedback, they are very tough to understand, and knowing how to use the rules out of the box will be difficult for people to understand. So what we did is we have created some prepackaged rules that are developed by us, and you can readily use them by choosing them to your account. We have developed these complex rules which triggers notification whenever some data is produced by the application. Let us now explain these prepackaged rules. We have a morning report rules which automatically accumulates all the data created over one day, or you can schedule them as per your requirement, and it will send you at a particular time which you have set up for that report. You as an user can download this rule from our library and activate it to your account and get email every day. Similarly, there is another rule called detailed report, which will let you get all the data that are failed or unprocessed over a period of time. You can enable or download the particular rule, and you can choose to configure it for 5 hours, such that after every 5 hours you will get a mail in your mailbox giving you a list of errors happened because of data in the application you are sending data to and from. Similarly, there is a cleanup rule which gets automatically activated to your account, which makes sure that the data created on your server are cleaned at an interval. By default, we do not allow the users to change the interval, and the data is getting cleaned after every 15 days. So it's not after every 15 days. It is like it will delete every day the data that is older than 15 days. Similar to that, there is another rule called misfire notification. So this is actually keeping track of the scheduler misses, because every workflow that you develop in our platform, you might schedule to run automatically, and this rule is actually keeping track of all these schedule misses and executions that are made in the production environment. This kind of notification gives you a lot of insights without doing much activity on the platform. In terms of the other enhancement, we have recently added data retention policy, which is developed using the default rule as mentioned before. The data retention policy for us keeps track of all transactional data and removes it when it is older than 15 days. This ensures the data present on the system is small and does not affect performance of the application. The data retention policy is developed as a part of GDPR. We also have trial user onboarding, which allows any user to register on the account of our application. By default, the user will be registered as a trial user, which can be upgraded later after payment. After registration and trial expiry, our team will contact you for payment. So let me show you how to create an account using the trial registration. So this is my account, so I'll just log out, and you can see there is a create an account. So you can just fill up this form, and you will get notified with an email, and after you activate this account, you can just go to the login section, and you can log into the account, and you will get a 30-day trial. For now, I'm just using my own account so that I can show you the application. So this is my application. So this section is not activated for the normal user. These are for this section is for the partners only. So here in the app section, you will get all the prepackaged app in the choose app section. I'll just show you after during the presentation. The environment of APPSeCONNECT is tightly coupled with user ID and password, as we had authentication system tied with an environment. But with the latest release, we have made sure that the environments are no longer tied with user ID and password. We generate the user ID and password to create a license key. We use generate is not a right word. We use the user ID and password to generate a license key for a particular environment, which is kept on that particular environment and used for doing authentication of the APIs. The license keys are associated with a particular environment, which ensures that the change in the environment or change in the password will not affect the environment or the API that we access to retrieve data from our servers. The advanced licensing ensures that the end-to-end security is made. Now, environments are of two types. It can be on-premise or on cloud. So managing on-premise environment could be a challenge. In APPSeCONNECT, we always had something called one environment connected to our servers. With the release that we did in this year, we have provided an environment management section. We thereby allow the users to connect to all environments and get access to log, processes, settings, etc. The old ADI is still pointing to the primary agent of APPSeCONNECT, but we will remove the limitation soon, maybe probably in the next release. The cloud hosted environment receives additional fixes, so that was a priority for us during this period of time. It is now tuned to perform. We ensure all the features that are available with APPSeCONNECT on-premise is now available with the cloud hosted environment. We released the cloud hosted environment with a handful of features previously, which is now complete with this year of continuous work. Now coming to the apps, as we mentioned that we also provide a prepackaged app where you can just go to the APPSeCONNECT section like this. So let me show you. So you can just log into your account and there is an app section. So first you will see this dashboard where it shows the counts, the status, errors, all these things. So you can just play and see all these counts. Now I don't have count because I'm not connected to a regular production environment. So now let us go to the app section. In the app section, you see there are all these apps that I have already created or I have added. So if you click on this choose app section, so you will see all these apps that are ready to connect. For instance, this is Bamboo HR, this is Uniconta, this is Sage, sorry, it was mistake. The image should be Sage 300, Priority, Suit CRM, Zoho. So if I go here and I see, so all these apps that are there, as well as some of them which are already added to this account, you can see you can connect to them. So if I add Sage 300, sorry, the account has already Sage 300. So this is Sage 300. So if I go to schema, so all these schema that you see here, all these schemas are already pre-built. So you can see these attributes are pointing to a particular API of Sage. Similar to that, I can go to BigCommerce and I can see all these schemas that are already there. So these schemas and actions are the endpoints that we hit for a particular API. These are already pre-created for you. So you can just go to app section and you can choose app, and then all these schemas, actions, the credential section, all these things will be pre-packaged for your applications to connect. So these are the apps that we have introduced in this 1 year. So these are the pre-packaged app. These are something that we have tested out and we are giving you to try out. There are other apps like there are many other apps which are already there in the marketplace, and we are continually adding them to the marketplace. Now, as we see that there is a number of applications that are listed here, which we are providing to the users for free. So one can easily choose them from the marketplace and then add them to their account. It will copy all the required things like we can the adapters, the protocols, all these things will be there instantly on the account. Other than that, there is another section called create technology app. So if you are choosing to create technology app, you are actually connecting to a particular protocol. For instance, if you choose file, that means you are connecting to a file on a particular location. If you are choosing REST, then you are actually connecting to a REST API. So you can just name a REST API and name an app and connect to a REST API. There is an OLEDB section which allows you to connect to an OLEDB, and there is an FTP as well. So if you are connecting to an FTP server, you can do it using this section. But in case of technology app, you don't need to create an adapter, because adapter is already created for you. So you can just put the credential and connect to the app. And as you know that in schema section, we already have an import schemas area where you can just choose an XML or JSON or anything you can choose, and all the schemas and entities and attributes will be created for you. So let us see how a REST connectivity works. So let me just show you again. So this is my account. So I'm just logging in. So what I'm going to do is let me just remove all these unnecessary projects. So you can see in the dashboard there are a few items. So this is the configuration option. So I'll just go to the app section. So I have created a video so that it is easier for you to understand. So I'll just go to the app section. So I'll just, yeah. So in the app section, you can see there is a app which connects to an Insightly CRM. So I have just created the app using this choose app section where you can choose the technology app, and you can name the app anything that you want to do or want to like. For instance, the name of the app here is the generic REST Insightly CRM app. Insightly CRM is not supported as a pre-built solution. So what we have to do, we are using the generic protocol based adapter to connect to the Insightly CRM. And as you know that we are connecting Insightly CRM to Shopify, so we have chosen Shopify as one of the connector. So Shopify is something which we have chosen from this list. It is not. It is a prepackaged solution for us, and we are using it to connect to the Insightly CRM. Insightly CRM, you can see it's not there in the list. Now from here, what we are going to do after we create the Insightly CRM application in APPSeCONNECT, what I have to do, I have to just go to the schema. I'll just show you how to go to the schema of APPSeCONNECT. So I'll just get rid of this as I've already created this. I'll go to the schema section. And you can see all these schemas are already created. So we, as I have shown you that we don't need to add the schema one by one. You can use the existing import schema option where you can choose a file. It could be a JSON file. So I can show you the JSON file here. It opens Visual Studio. So this is the schema file. So what this schema file contain is it is one data that we have retrieved from a particular API. It can be anything. I mean, it can be only a schema as well. But if you mention, if you place one output of an API, it can create the schema from that as well. So you can see this is a contact schema with contact ID. Contact ID is 0, which is invalid. So it is actually a JSON schema. But if you have a valid data as well, you can also use them. Salutation, first name. So all these are fields of an API. So after I create all these fields, I can go to the contact section. So you can see after I import it, it automatically identifies the primary key. It automatically identifies the string variables, the numerics, the date time. All these things are automatically identified. So these are the attributes that we are going to create inside the schema. We are actually flexible. You can create this schema from this UI as well, but we strongly recommend to use our import feature, which will help you to reduce the efforts considerably. Now coming to the connection section. So connections are actually an instance of an application connecting to another application. So as I've told you that we are going to connect Shopify with Insightly. So I have created a connection in this account, which I can create from the create connection button. So if I click on the create connection button, it will allow me to create a new connection. So you have to mention the connection name, which is a required field. So it's webinar underscore connection. And now if I go to the connector, so you can see as I've added Shopify as well as this one Insightly. So it shows me which connector that I want to create. So I can create either nav to Shopify or REST, which is connected to an Insightly CRM to Shopify. As my plan actually does not allow me to add more than one connection, so I have restricted it. So if you are using a trial account, you might need to upgrade before creating a new connection. I mean, before creating a connection between two apps. So I have already created that, and you can see uh, inside it. So inside it, I have created a mapping between contacts of Shopify with customer of contact of Insightly CRM with customer of Shopify. So you can see the mapping section. So it loops all the data, and it is just a mapping between a customer and a contact. So contact is coming from Shopify. Uh, Contact is coming from Insightly CRM. So I'm getting the data from Insightly CRM, and I am putting the data in Shopify. So these are the contact fields. So I can just click on any one of them, and I can save it. What it will do, it will create a mapping between that particular field with another. And here, if you know about APPSeCONNECT, you can do complex mapping as well. There are support for functions. There are support for a lot of other stuffs, which you can go to the documentation site of ours. You can go to docs.appseconnect.com, and where you can find all these documentations. Now I'm downloading the agent. So from here, the link, you can download the on-premise agent. You can either download the on-premise agent, or you can host the entire connection into our cloud hosting environment. So I'm just downloading the on-premise agent, and here it is. So after I log in the on-premise agent, I'll be provided with a tool which I can see on my desktop. Now, to get data from Insightly CRM, what I have to do, I have to actually configure a request. So it gets data from Insightly CRM. It is configured to sorry, get only the data that is required for me. So I have put a filter which filters the data after updated date time. So I'm storing the date time, and I am reading the date time from storage and putting it inside the parameters. Parameters are the query string. So in API, if I pass a date time for that particular field, it will filter out all the data based on that particular field. So it will filter out all the data that is created before that particular date time. So now as everything is done, so I'll just go to my APPSeCONNECT on-premise environment. So you can see the connection is there, which connects Shopify with Insightly CRM, and this is the credential section. So sorry. So one is already consumed. So I'm just going to the settings. Just a minute. So it's already connected. So I'm just creating uh, a new account in Insightly, so which will allow me to get the data. Actually, the connection is already created. I mean, credentials are provided, so it doesn't allow me to open the credential section. But if credentials are not provided, it will allow you. Okay, so this is I'm going to save it. Abhishek Shur. And if I search it over here, you see that this one is not present. So what I'm going to do, I'm just executing it manually. You always have an option to actually execute these particular touch point automatically using a particular schedule. So you can make it 5 minutes interval or 10 minutes interval, and it will get continuously data to from Insightly CRM to Shopify. So there are few items that are getting processed here. So it got processed. So if I search it again, sorry, just I'm going to search it. I'm clicking on all. Yeah. So you can see this customer has been created. It's just 20 seconds ago. The customer is created, and this timeline is showing the Shopify customers, the created time, and the email ID of the customer. All these are shown in the timeline. So basically, what the demo does is actually it is creating a REST connection, which is not a solution that is provided by InSync. Not a It is not an app which is provided by InSync by default. So it's not a prepackaged app, but it connects to it via an HTTP API. So it is the REST API. It connects to a REST application without having support to it inbuilt into the application. So this is the protocol based connector. This is the scenario where you can use protocol based connector. So any application in the world which is supporting REST APIs, which has a REST API, is supported in APPSeCONNECT. Now, similar to the REST APIs, you can also connect to a file system. You can connect to an FTP account. You can connect to a relational database. So from that create technology app section, you can just go there and create these connections to the APIs. It can be either a database. You can get data from relational database, which can be Oracle, SQL Server, or anything, and you can put it in SAP or any application that we provide, or you can connect to your custom made application using REST protocol as well. So it according to your wish, where from you are trying to get data and where to you are trying to push data to. Now coming to the integrations that we provide, I have told you that we not only provide the apps, we also provide integrations which are prepackaged. So these are the connections which we provide out of the box, where you don't have to actually bother about connecting to the apps, connecting to the API. You don't have to understand the APIs. You can just choose the connections and create a connection, and it will create all the mapping, and it will create all the schema actions inside your project. So one of the connector which we have developed is the Nav and Magento. Nav is an ERP and Magento is an e-commerce solution. Now it was already previously done, but we have enhanced it to support multiple stores. So you can connect your Nav account with multiple stores of Magento. We have created a connector from SAP B1 to Zoho Desk. SAP B1 is the ERP. Sage 300, as I told you, that Sage 300 is now supported inside APPSeCONNECT. So it is readily supported. So all the schemas and APIs are already connected. So you have to just go and grab this connection, which connects to commerce, or you can connect Sage 300 to any of the applications that we support, or any of the REST or other protocol based connections. Some other connector like Priority, Shopify Priority is an ERP. There is Bamboo HR, which is an HR solutions which connects to SAP B1. There is Uniconta, Zoho. All these things are created and time tested. So basically, for all these integrations, you just need to choose the connection from the template section. So I'll show you. Just you can go to the connections, and you can just create a connection using a particular template, and all the mappings and everything will be created, auto created for you. So if I go there and if I open the mapping, so you can see, so all these mappings are auto created. So one thing, if you need if you have changed something in this particular account and you want to add something, a new attribute, so you have created a new attribute into your API of the application, you can just add that attribute here and it will start working. If you want to change the mapping, you can explore the mapping at any time, and it will give you an option to change the mapping. So all these things, how to do it, you can get help from our documentation site, which is hosted here, docs.appseconnect.com. You can go there and you can get started and get all the documents here. Coming back to all the major enhancement that we did. So we have already covered what are the major features that we have developed. Now here we come what are the major enhancement that we did for an existing feature. So we have added the support for adding conditions on data mapping. So conditions are something like you can go to the data mapping and you can just click here and add an if clause. So if you add an if clause, it will just create an if clause over here. I have already created an if clause. I'm not changing anything on the mapping section, which will just remove the logic. So in here, so if I go to explore condition, I can see I can add any kind of conditions that I want. It can be nested, it can be another clause, there could be a variable which we select, and we can add condition here, right? So these things we have introduced. There is another condition which is inside the workflow designer. So if you know about the workflows, so here what we are doing is actually we are actually creating a dependency of one integration point with another. So here AR invoice, and you can see there is an there is a decision section. So what it does, it actually allows you to create decision, and here also you can create criteria, you can choose any variable, and you can put a logic. You can even use evaluate X path, so that whatever output that you are passing to this node, you can put an evaluate X path and then check for a particular value. So these things can be done over here. So these are the enhancement that we did. We also added the support for resuming workflow. So whenever a workflow is getting executed, if something happens which uh, stops the workflow at a particular instant, without actually getting the data from scratch on your next run, what we did, we allow you to resume that workflow. This feature will help you to reduce the amount of uh, data which are not being processed because of some natural calamity or anything that happens on the environment. Because we sync the environment in an on-premise agent, so we cannot actually rely on the network or the performance of that application. It can happen that if during the sync operation something happens and it cannot process, so we allow the sync to run again without resuming from the start. And as I've told you that we are doing lot of stuffs in the stability area of APPSeCONNECT, and we have enhanced the cloud hosted solution for APPSeCONNECT. So we now support all the features that are there in the on-premise. We support all of them in the cloud hosted solution as well. Now, in terms of security, security is a primary concern for us. As I have already told you that we have worked on GDPR last year, and I mean in 2018, and now we are enhancing the security in 2019, as well as in 2020. We have some other items which allows us to improve the security as well. So what we did during this year, we have actually changed the encryption algorithm from 128-bit encryption to 256-bit encryption. Now the bits are much more complex, and it allows you to have more secure layer for your application. We have also added the end-to-end encryption on the system generated key for the organization. So what it actually allows, what we makes you is actually, it will the system will generate a key for a particular environment for a particular organization, and you can change the key any from the policy section as well of APPSeCONNECT. So you can change the key, you can regenerate the key from here. From the security, you can update the encryption key from here. So what it does, it will not show you the encryption key. It will be uh, stored inside your own vault, and what it does, it actually uses that particular key for doing all the encryptions. So even if I go to an environment and I want to decrypt the data that is created inside the environment, or decrypt the data that is created on our cloud environment, I cannot do it without that key, because that encryption algorithm is in place. So that makes you very secure, and all the data is end-to-end encrypted on the system. We have also added the data purge policy because we saw, or we got a feedback that there is a lot of transactional data that is being created on the on-premise systems. So we have added a 15-day purge data policy, which allows the on-premise environment to be clean and more performant, you can say. And throughout this year, and we are still going on, is the ISO 27000, which is Also a security enhancement that we are doing do all the systems, not only with the product. We are going beyond the product, and we are going doing security enhancement on all the areas, and we will be certified. Now what next? So for the next year is also very interesting for us, because we are actually removing the dependency of touch point inside the workflow designer. So workflow designer will be more enhanced, and there will be more options to play around. Here we already have a lot of options, but we are enhancing the system so that you can do more on the APPSeCONNECT workflow designer. For instance, you can directly go debug your application. You can see full-fledged execution. All these things we are doing. So there are a lot of enhancements that you will be going to see in the releases that are coming up on the workflow designer section. We are adding libraries and packages so that you can create a library and you can share with anyone, maybe inside your peers, or maybe with the global marketplace. So we allow the flexibility to create a package and publish that package into the marketplaces. We are also adding the element of artificial intelligence, because that is a buzz around all the products. So we are adding a lot of things around artificial intelligence, which you will be getting throughout the year. So to conclude, with APPSeCONNECT, we always want to deliver the best. As we are continuously improving our offerings, with the coming years, we will be delivering more and more into the offerings. The database is growing faster than ever before. During this whole 1 year, we have acquired more partners and more businesses. So a lot of businesses are trusting us because of the power of this platform. With advanced features, the application gives you an edge over other iPaaS platforms. I hope this session gives you enough understanding about the platform so that you can start exploring it more. If you need any help, you can go to our documentation site. I have shown you the documentation site already, and read through it. We are also coming up with a community site. So community, we are building a community very soon, and it will be live very soon, where you can test the application, or you can take help from the integration superstars that we already have. I hope you will join us soon if you are not already a customer. Thank you. Now I want to open for questions. So if you have any question, you can ask me right now. So if you have any question, you can just type it in the question answer section. Okay, I have a question where someone is asking about how to use the decision node in the APPSeCONNECT. So I have shown you there are a lot of sections. Let me open workflow. So here in the process property section, you can see the decision. There are two sections. One is you can use an existing decision that you have already created, or you can create a decision on your own. So you can name it, let's say, my webinar, and I can create a connect criteria. Let's say contact equals to. So what it does, it will allow you to filter out all the data which are only. So you can make it begins with. So you can find Abhishek and or other items. So you can just make it A. So it will filter out all the data that are starting with A. That's it. I think there is no more questions right now. So thank you for joining the session. I hope it helped you understanding the platform and all the features that we have released in the year 2019. Thank you. I hope to see you soon with more updates about the features that we are developing. And you can keep a watch, keep an eye on the appseconnect.com. And if you go to the platform, just if you go to the platform, there is a release note section. So you can always go to the release note section and find all these details of the release. So all the enhancements that we are doing, and we are releasing another very soon in January. So this is released already. So you can get all these details in these release notes, and we will update it very soon. Thank you for joining the session. I hope it helped you a lot. Thank you.